Grand Rising, great day, and welcome to the Peak Wellness Hour. We've made it through another month. We're in the month of July, so we're super excited to start the month off with you. It's Independence, 4th of July weekend. So we're going to talk about freedom. So you all stay tuned, grab a pen and paper, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and we're going to dive into this conversation. All right, we are here. We are so excited. As always, I am your co-host, Angelina, aka Queen G with Clearest Conscious-HLC Lifestyle Coaching. Here with, I always introduce this Queen, but I can't help it. Do you want to do it, Queen? I just got to tell you. Queen Edith, Professor Edith, CEO, entrepreneur, pastor, counselor, Queen Edith. We are here with you today with Peak Homecare Associates. We're here with you today. Like I said, it is 4th of July weekend, Independence Day weekend here in the United States. Grand Rising to my Queen Mother who made it in first. Grand Rising, aka Rhonda Thomas. Grand Rising to my Queen Sister, Crystal Thomas. So yeah, it's Independence Day, or Independence weekend. And I'm just going to be honest. I called Queen Edith the other day and we talked about what to talk about, right? And so Grand Rising Queen Kathy B with the United Empires of Akivalon. So glad to see all you queens. So I called and asked her, we wouldn't, as you will see, you might not see, we're going to, take this conversation by the seat of our pants. It's going to be a great conversation as always. But I called her. I said, Queen, what are we going to talk about? She says, it's Independence weekend, yada, yada. How about that? I say, and I put my little 2 cents in about my perspective and my feelings and my emotions about things that just had to get too deep, right? Instead of just saying, hey, you know what? We can rock with that topic, because every time I choose a topic, she's just like, right on, Queen. So I just want to be accountable for that. And just show you how important it is to network and collaborate and grow together despite whatever goes on and differences of opinions. So we're going to have a healthy conversation here today. I know we have a lot of people that are not from the U.S. So that was something else I wanted to make sure, bridging that gap to where we talk about just independence, talk about what freedom looks like to you, spiritually, physically, mentally, stuff. So let's have some fun. Make sure you all like, share, and subscribe. Share. Hit that like button now.
All right.
And we're going to please and thank you, if you will. And let's dive into this conversation. So I will stop talking. Queen.
Happy 4th of July. Happy Independence Day weekend to all my friends and family in the United States of America and families that support the United States. It's been a great pleasure and an honor to be here. I take this privilege to salute And if I'm doing it wrong, please forgive me. To salute all our veterans, the men and the women who sacrificed to fight for the freedoms we enjoy today. And Queen, to your king as well. Happy Independence Day. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your service and sacrifice. Right? I mean, who
Yes.
knows what would America, where America would be? And at the foundation of any freedom and independence lies sacrifice, lies bloodshed. So anytime you are enjoying sacrifice, you are enjoying the freedom and the liberties you have today. Ask your question: has it always been like this? Has it always been this way? And when we look at the history of America and the way this country was built, the opportunity for women to vote, for blacks to vote, and all of these freedoms that we take for granted to the point that we say we will not vote. We will not do this. We have choices. Has it always been like this? If your great great were alive, what would she say about some of the freedom? So I think these are some of the topics we're gonna navigate and delve into as we wish you a happy 4th of July or Independence Day weekend for the cookout. Nobody has invited me to any yet, but it's okay. I'll live. I'll live, or I'll just crash your parties and come in, right? But as we wish you the best, as we celebrate this amazing gift, and I take this opportunity to and Ghana to celebrate its independence on the 6th of March. And interestingly, both America and Ghana and many parts of Africa got their independence from the same colonial masters, the United Kingdom, the British, all of us. So we do have a lot in.
Oh no, we lost the queen. We lost Queen Edith. Give us a second. Make sure you all hit that like button, please. Make sure you feel free to engage in the comment section. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to. Oh, here she is. Okay, here she is. There she is.
I don't know. It just went off. But we do have a lot in common. We do have so much in common. So, yes, stay tuned. Like the Queen said, please and thank you. Share this video, invite friends and family, and let's go from here. Thank you, Queen.
Let's go. I love it. So yeah, great insight, great truth. I know I'll say this, and this is why I was kind of hesitant about having this conversation. But like I told Queen, we can do these things in a healthy manner, despite differences of opinions, different perspectives. That is how we grow. That is the real melting pot. That is the real community. I know this civil rights is a big thing. And I think a lot of people, when we talk about civil rights, a lot of us, especially melanated people, we think about cultural rights, especially in the United States. Now we have it where civil rights extends to women and this and that and everything, So I think we have to get to a point where we understand human rights. Because otherwise we are very uncivil. When we cannot respect the fact that we are all human beings trying to make it here. It's very interesting. You mentioned, let me see, with ancestors and our legacies. I think with freedom comes a responsibility to grow. Freedom is, like you said, it's a sacrifice and it's a price. And I would like to ask everyone, what do you think the price of freedom is? What is the cost of freedom? Because here's what I'm thinking. You can't put a dollar amount on it, but it's a great cost. And if you don't understand how to utilize the wealth of freedom as a mindset, first of all, you will find yourself in debt to your own freedom, and by way of that, enslaved and in bondage. So I think when we think about the cost and the price of freedom, we don't think about it psychologically, where with our ancestors, right, like Queen said, there's a sacrifice. And we have to think, was it a sacrifice for the future? Was it a sacrifice for the moment? And people move differently. Right now, I have to do this for my freedom, for me. Or I could say I have to do this for my freedom and for everybody else's free. You have to think about it like that. And I think when we get back to the concept of the bartering system, for instance, that's the cost of freedom, is bartering, where you say, my peace of mind might cost me this friendship, might cost me this relationship, but I need this peace of mind. My well-being might require me to go the extra mile, but that's the cost. I think we want to be free, but we don't want to experience what freedom looks like. I think that's why we're in a rut like we are, as humanity, not even a country, as humanity. So, hey.
I want to be a little what do you call it? Let me put it this way. Let me bring it the way we celebrate Independence Day in America. Okay, I'm sure there are a lot of things that go on, especially in the capital. But one of the things I've noticed is that light and fireworks is a big deal, right? The fireworks lights up the sky with all these beautiful, beautiful formations, right? I want to ask this question. First of all, why is it called fireworks? It's beautiful. It's amazing. It's an amazing, but why is it called fireworks? And though it's beautiful too, one thing I see is that it could be dangerous. Fireworks could be dangerous. So I'm trying to use this as a metaphor, because the price, Queen talks about the price. Everything has a price to it, right? Everything has a price to it. In order for my children to enjoy certain freedoms, chances are I may have to pay a certain price. I can place my children in a place where I never was placed. So I can put them in a better position. Mm-hmm. Though that may not have been my position at their age. Mm-hmm. So my mother paid a certain price, I pay a certain price, and everyone continues to pay that price, some price. Queen Kathy B said, fireworks are very dangerous and stresses the animals and our vets.
Yeah, you know what? Here in Indiana, there's been a lot of popping, and like this started a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, and it would wake me up. It's just one pop, so it's not fireworks, and I'm like, is that a gunshot? And now my husband's grabbing his firearms. We are armed up over here, so don't do it, y'all. But it's like, but you hear it once, and now with the fireworks, the firecrackers, you can't distinguish what's going on. I know here in Indiana, I started to listen to this, the news break as far as fatalities, gunshot fatalities overnight. So they're very dangerous. It's a lot going on with that. And really quickly, to answer your question, Queen, I just looked this up. The word firework comes from the Greek word pyrotechnics, which means fire art or fire skill. Fireworks were originally used as weapons, but soon they were also being used in explosive displays celebrating victory or peace. So that's a little back history there, you all, with fireworks. And more importantly, here's my thing with it. Um, I'm not, and this is something more current in my older years, but as far as celebrating these holidays, especially the federal holidays, it's always a money grab. I'm so grateful that I don't have to spend money on fireworks for my children no more. I did it before. I respect people that do these things now and celebrate these holidays, but it's a money grab. Valentine's Day, money grab. And everything's a money grab. So with the fireworks, I was at my husband's niece's house yesterday. Whole garage full of fireworks. I'm gonna leave it there. And then you think about your financial freedom with these fireworks and your checking and savings. I'm gonna stop there. Queen.
Where I was going to was that sometimes with everything that comes out beautifully, there is a cost and a price to it. Fireworks is beautiful, but Queen just made a point. It costs money. It is dangerous. Okay? Some people will take advantage of what's going on in the atmosphere, the poem, and do gunshots, and you may not know the difference. Okay, so with every amazing gift you and I are enjoying that we call freedom and liberties, some people died because of it. Some people sacrificed so much because of the freedoms and the liberties you and I enjoy. That's the point I was trying to make.
Love
So
it.
the question is, what is freedom? What does independence mean to you personally? What does that mean? Because it looks different for
Mm-hmm.
each one of us. So if
Mm-hmm.
you're listening to us, what does freedom mean? And personally to you, what does independence mean? What does liberty? Because they're all the same: freedom, liberty, independence. They all intertwined in a way, one way or the other. So
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see your comments.
Yeah,
Thank you.
put those in the comments section, please and thank you. And Grand Rising, Queen Betty, my aunt, Grand Rising Queen. Yeah, put that in the comment section. I'd like to know. And that's why I said with the freedom thing, I used to have a bird when I was younger. Yellow bird, uh, Precious. Love that bird. As I got older, and my nephew will attest to this, with the zoo is fun, the zoo is disturbing. Why do we have animals that should be out in the wild on their own, caged by people that can't even get their stuff together? And that's what's happening. I feel like a lot of us are like some caged birds sometimes, and I think with freedom, the cost is too much to bear. It is too much to it. I don't even know if it's too much to bear. It's not a push for that. I think that we'd rather feel like our free will, quote unquote, is sufficient enough. So I've worked with dementia patients. So if you give them a choice, you don't say, hey, you're gonna wear this. You say, do you want where there's green and yellow and purple, all these things, but you give those two choices, right? So that looks like free will. And it's not in this illusion that we can't think outside the box for our freedom, is a human error. If you look at, I think for me, I'm gonna share some of these comments because they look good. In the simplest deep, What is freedom? What does independence mean to you personally? Yes, yes, yes. So I think in our minds, I think the lack of freedom, which freedom is being free of bondage and restraint, right? And so that's on different levels. So I think with the mindset of captivating someone or putting someone in bondage or putting yourself in bondage, it starts with the mind. If you can disillusion the mind, then you can break the spirit. And we've talked about with on people on the sour how all that ties in with physical health, right? So there are a lot of people, you would think that as parents you want your children to do better than you. I guarantee you there are a lot of parents that don't think like that, and there are parents that don't really care about that. When you tell your children you'll never be nothing, you're worried just like your daddy, things like that, you don't want your children to be better. And so we perpetuate a system and a culture of humanity where we don't feel like we deserve to be free. And your freedom is the extent of saying, do you want the red one or the blue one? And that's why we're all still in this enslaved mindset now. And I'll land there. I'm going to post some of these. Okay.
Okay. Okay, Crystal T. Hey, Queen, how are you doing? Freedom is a mentality to me. My personal ability and choice to have and make conscious decisions and actions. You know, my personal ability and choice to have and make conscious decisions and actions. Queen Kathy B said, freedom for me means being able to come and go as I please. I'm semi-free because I have a job. I'm not free for at least 8 hours. My mind is also semi-free. There are things I can do and cannot do. Okay. And there's a price. Once again, that's some of the price we pay in order to even obtain total freedom. Sometimes, like you said, sometimes you have to pay the bills. So you do what is needed in order for you to obtain. Sometimes you have to do some things in order to reach a certain goal. It's a process. Let me put it that way. It's a process. It comes at a price. Even when you work for yourself, I've worked for myself for at least the last 3 years, and I promise you, it's not always, I haven't always enjoyed the freedom of an entrepreneur because once again, I'm not at that level yet. So it's very progressive. But what matters is that today I'm paying the price, I'm making the sacrifices I need in order for the next year, for the next 2 years. I'm not working as much on the field as a caregiver as I used to. Interestingly, I'm not. And I've come a long way in the last 3 years. I was literally working almost every case. I'll work this one in the morning, this one in the afternoon, the other. So there is a price to pay to freedom. Okay. But Queen says, you talk about mental freedom. Mental freedom is there. It's that liberation, that's a mindset thing that makes you get up and say that I'm not going to let the situation stop me. What do I need to do to break those boundaries, right? Sometimes you feel bound by certain things, and I don't mean physical bounding or binding, but sometimes situations.
Oh, darn it. We lost her again. Grand rising to my queen aunt, Gloria Carter. Shots of Black Men's Group. Here we go. Here she is.
What's going on with my computer, the internet?
Speaking that truth, they're shutting you down.
Yeah, sometimes situations in your life, or you look at their past experiences, things you've been through, and you let them determine what you can and cannot do.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people say, oh, I don't have the education, so I can't. Well, then, if it is needed, then get it. It doesn't always have to be formal.
Mm-hmm.
If it is needed, then get it. Because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we are our own barrier or obstacle to breaking bounds, to breaking limitations. My mother never finished high school. Do I think I'm better than your mother? You are not better than your mother, but your mother is giving you the opportunity to go further than she did, hopefully. And if that, even if that's not the case, you don't need her permission,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so nobody does this in my family. I'm not going to be the first one to try it. As an African, they'll kill me. Who will kill you? Push on, push on. So freedom is there. As a child, you enjoy certain freedoms, okay? As a child living in your parents' house, you have a curfew. You can go out from 7 to 9. By 9:30, you must be home. After every age, there's a level of freedom, extra freedoms you are given until you move out. And when you move out, you realize that the things you so much wanted to do when you were living with your parents, you can't do them because you have to work and pay the bills. Right? So there are things that hold us back.
Mm-hmm.
And the first step is recognizing them. What is holding you back?
Mm-hmm.
What is pulling you back? What makes you keep looking back and not resolving it?
Mm-hmm.
What makes you look back that is slowing you down rather than focusing and pursuing what is ahead of you?
Mm-hmm.
Rather than looking at your situation right now, what can I get out of the way? Who does not need to be in my circle right now?
Mm-hmm.
What do I need to obtain? Whatever it is, education, I don't know, whatever it is. Or just stop being lazy getting out of bed. What it is. What is it? Because freedom
Mm-hmm.
comes at a price. Whether you're talking about the freedom of a nation, freedom of your family, freedom of you as an individual.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me see. What's it say? Learning to have no fear to succeed. Let me tell you, I was talking with my queen mother the other day, and we were speaking about um, the company that people keep. Okay. And how misery loves company, right? I've never been one of those kind of people. When I am unhappy, when I'm not there, I don't want to engage. I don't want to tell you about what's going on. I just want to just process, and I just want to come out of it, right? I'm sure we've all been in those situations where it's like, and so I understand the misery loves company thing, but I can't participate. So we were talking about what happens when you have this success, when you are growing, and when you're trying to pour in to other people, and you're sacrificing, okay, and making that sacrifice on behalf of yourself and whoever else you're dealing with. It's interesting to see how people will be quick to correct you and judge you, um, and just be negative when you're in a low place, in a vulnerable place. But when you start to succeed, and we're talking about how, for me, in my experience, a lot of things are mirrored. So Queen Eve's going through something. I might not be going through the same thing, but somehow it's mirrored and it's relevant to my life and my current situation, and you have to be able to see that. And there's freedom on both ends with that, in its right time. But then you'll have people where if Queen Eve's helping me and empowering me, now it's who does she think she is? She acts like she didn't know where she comes from. These kind of things. And then psychologically, now Queen Eve's saying, well, I don't want to feel that way. I don't want to feel like I'm better than somebody. I don't want them to feel bad. And then we minimize ourselves and we downplay ourselves and we miss blessings and the opportunity to level up. We bind ourselves That is self-bondage. That is forfeiting the freedom, your freedom to be who you're called to be. A lot of times our freedom, our lack of freedom is on behalf of our own choices and behaviors and mindsets. I'll land my plane there.
I want to talk about a video you shared with me this week. Talking about our surroundings, the things we surround ourselves with. Um, so you want to say something?
I just pulled it up while you were talking. I just pulled it up. If you want to play it.
Okay, let's play it.
You want to talk about it first, sir?
Yeah, let me say this though. So every definition about freedom that we've read here, being able to come and go as you please. Okay. So if you're renting a room in somebody's house, you can't come and go as you please. Not anybody and everybody can visit you at any time in the night. Okay, you can't play music as loud as you want and jump around or walk around, like the day you were born. All of that stuff. Those are all freedoms we enjoy. And sometimes we genuinely can't afford to have an apartment or a house by ourselves. We share. But as you work towards your freedom, you can able to with time, there is a time and a place.
What is happening? All right, y'all hold tight for just a second. Should be right back. Yeah, and fear is a big issue. Go ahead, Queen, please. Sorry.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I need to change the internet. But my point is this. If you are not willing to do the work it takes, pay the price you need to pay, you might get stuck in a situation where you will never truly enjoy freedom. Because first of all, it's in the mind, and the mind guides you to do the work, to do what you need to do in order to get to where you need to get. So yes, not many of you have the liberty to go and come as you please. I'm not talking about 15-year-olds and 14-year-olds. I'm talking about adults who can't do that. There's something you can do to get there. For as long as we have life, we can get somewhere. There is hope. So don't give up. You may have lost your home, you may have lost your family, you may have lost something in the last year or two. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up.
Absolutely.
On yourself. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. Thank you. Yeah. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Hey, Queen, are you talking about the video that I sent you about the addiction thing, the short?
Yeah.
Okay, I just need to make sure.
Have you seen this comment? Okay, it's happened because you allow the process to happen. It's definitely a process. Definitely. Thank you, Queen.
And I was gonna say, with the price, you have to think about this. Nothing is free, so don't let the word freedom confuse you with any right. There's always a cost to everything, whether it's positive or negative. So do you want to pay the interest, or do you want to accrue the interest? There's a difference.
Good question.
There's interest. It's going to come one way or the other. So, yeah. Okay. So this short, I was flipping through. I'm going to share this with you all, and I'm going to put an overlay on the screen so there's no copyright issues. But really, I'll say this. But I came across it on YouTube, and it was talking about addiction, and it was very interesting. The very beginning of it, talking about just the mindset, and it was dealing with rats, but we're going to watch it anyways. Okay. So there's the Fair Use Act, right? Let me see. I'm going to put this overlay on here because we don't want any issues. And I will play this. Nope, hold on. Let me share the screen. My bad. Let me see. Hang on just a second. Make sure everybody hits that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's see, presents. Do hope everybody's having a great weekend so far. Okay, so I'm gonna share this really quickly, and we're gonna talk about it.
And you put it.
This kid was just
Almost everything we think we know about addiction is wrong. You get a rat and you put it in a cage and you give it 2 water bottles. One is just water and the other is water laced with either heroin or cocaine. If you do that, the rat will drug water and almost always kill itself quite quickly. In the 70s, Professor Alexander comes along and he looks at this experiment and he noticed something. He said, we're putting the rat in an empty cage. It's got nothing to do except use these drugs. Let's try something a bit different. So Professor Alexander built a cage that he called Rat Park. They've got loads of cheese, they've got loads of colored balls, they've got loads of tunnels. Crucially, they've got loads of friends. But here's the fascinating thing. In Rat Park, they don't like the drug water. You go from almost 100% overdose when they're isolated to 0% overdose when they have happy and connected lives. What if addiction isn't about your chemical hooks? What if addiction is about your cage? What if addiction is an adaptation to your environment? Maybe we shouldn't even call it addiction. Maybe we should call it bonding. Human beings have a natural and innate need to bond. And when we're happy and healthy, we'll bond and connect with each other. But if you can't do that because you're traumatized or isolated or beaten down by life, you will bond with something that will give you some sense of relief. Now, that might be gambling, that might be pornography, that might be cocaine, that might be cannabis, but you will bond and connect with something because that's our nature. The opposite of addiction is not sobriety. The opposite of addiction is connection. Almost everything we think we know about addiction is wrong.
Okay, so what do y'all think about that? I thought that was so deep, and you all know that Queen Edith dealt with counseling for addiction services or whatnot as part of her training as a therapist, counselor. So I thought that was so powerful, especially the end where it says, addiction is not the opposite of addiction is not sobriety; it's connection. We do so much self-harm. We have no idea the traumatic effects, not just with self, but with everything around us. Even the negative things we say, the attitude, if I'm negative with Queen Edith and she doesn't say anything, doesn't mean that it does not affect her and her energy and her space, so we have to think about those things. Queen.
Wow. So this statement, the opposite of addiction is not sobriety. And he said, maybe we need to call it bonding. When you look at this, so addiction has taught me a lot. And working with people who have gone through, serious, levels of addiction, I've learned a lot about their process to recovery. And of course, I'm still learning. But this makes a lot of sense. One thing, you find out that a lot of people who get into this situation are isolated. It's a very common factor. You find them living in isolation. Even when they live in a house with other people, they're constantly in their room. So when they're in their room and they have access to their phone or to TV or whatever, as long as the internet is there, they can open anything, pornography, they can open all kinds of things, watch things, do things. And when they step out, they're going to do some of the things they're doing. They're going to try what they're learning because they're disconnecting from the humanity, so to speak, the warmth of relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you have a child in your house who is always in the room, please get the door open. Try and do everything to get them out to enjoy. Find out what they would enjoy around the family and let's get it for them. It's a worthy price to pay than when they end up in these places, because once they're alone, the mind is never quiet. It will find something for them to do.
Mm-hmm.
They're not feeling the warmth of humanity. I've talked to people who have said that it was only the substance that they were doing. And this is not even during the times that I've been doing the internship. Something I learned before. The only time they felt loved and had felt loved is when they did these things, when they went into these things. So this man is seriously onto something. When you look at the common factor of everyone who has some kind of addiction problem, number one, isolation. Feeling of not being loved, not being accepted, feelings of unworthiness. So because of that, they struggle to even connect because they feel unworthy. Okay, so we need to be mindful of these things. Queen, I don't know what you want to say about it, but we need to be mindful.
No, yeah, we do. That's why for me, it's so important for me. If I'm walking, my husband, he's out walking right now. My king's out walking. When I do go out walking with him, I need to pep up my step. But we wave at people. If I'm in the grocery store, I nod my head, I smile. You never know what the smallest positive encounter can do for someone, because there's someone that has been built up, from a young age, and one person tells you that you'll never be nothing, or you're stupid, or and that will rock your whole life. It amazes me how it happens, just one negative thing. So I think it's very important for us to be mindful of what we're putting out there. Because I think that validation is needed, because the distortion of the world being so cruel is prominent, and I say it like that because we see these negative, these stories, these videos, everything's negative. Why don't we see positive things? Nothing good happens in the world. And that's just not true. It's the propaganda to keep us enslaved. And again, it starts with the mindset. If you can tell somebody this is bad and you say it over and over again, this is wrong, say it over and over again. We're so conditioned that they come back later and say, well, we said that, but we were wrong. My bad. And we'll sit there and say, well, it's okay because they said it before, so it's okay. And this is the mindset. And we remain in bondage because we choose, we love a lie. We love a lie. Oh, lie to me. We love a lie. And you will argue down the truth, tooth and nail, instead of saying to yourself, hey, Queen Edith feels like this is her belief. Queen Gloria, Queen Betty, who are you? This is how people feel. This is how people feel. No, they can't be right. No, there's something wrong with them. I'm not listening. Instead of having the wherewithal to free your mind and say, Queen Edith said this. I don't agree with that. That's not my belief. That's not my. But I'll say, well, she said something different than what I believe, than what I know, than what I understand. Let's just check it out. Freedom is in knowledge that leads to wisdom.
Whoa, I like that.
We have to stop being so offensive, so offended, so sensitive. If you're engaged in conversation, if you're engaged in relationship, there is a reason for that. Your freedom lies in your choice to proceed to knowledge, to gain wisdom, because they're two totally different things. And I will land there.
It's interesting because this statement, the ability to enjoy your freedom freely, is connected strongly to the people around you. Let's just say you have all the money and the wealth in the world that you want, but your children are struggling. You feel like, hey, you worked hard to get yours. You've done everything you can for them. It's time for them to do it too. How are you able to enjoy that freedom? Because we were not built to live life by ourselves. Everything we do.
Okay. Give her a second. Yeah, she's in the office. She's over in the office, Peak Homecare Associates. So give us just a second. She'll be right back on. Let's see. Freedom is able to watch our words because with it we can bless and curse. So true. So true. And just the simplest of words, just a handful of words, will definitely can define a lot of things. So we definitely have to be careful what we say and how we say it. My Queen Mother always says, I'm not what you're saying and what you're not saying, more importantly. So I love nonverbal communication. So yeah, it's what we say. That tongue is powerful, cuts like a knife, cuts like a sword, right? I wanted to say something about what Queen Edith said, but I want to get it back on here. Let's see, give me just a second. Thank you all for your engagement in this conversation. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. Such a blessing to have you all here. We've been working really hard. I know you all been working really hard. So we're excited to see where this is going. And I think this is to start out July. It's hot as heck out here, y'all. And in Indiana, it's hot. I'm interested to see how August is going to look this year because we've gotten some 90-some degree weather. So we'll see how it goes. Let me see. Where are you at, Queen? Excuse me. I didn't want to start talking and elaborate without her being here because I didn't want her to lose her train of thought. So let's see. I do want to say with freedom, she meant something about freedom in our children. Definitely have to take control back over our youth and raising our youth and being aware of what's going on with our youth. There's so much going on right now. Here she goes.
I had to change the network. In case it's the network, I had to change it.
Okay.
So hopefully this is better. I don't know what's going on.
It's all right. Go ahead. I started commenting on what you were saying about freedom and our children and just being mindful of investing in our children. I think we're so many generations behind right now. I don't want anyone to get discouraged because of that. We just got to be boots on the ground when it comes to elevating and empowering. My children are older now, got some things going on home, but I'm enjoying watching them just kind of flourish in a different way. It's been interesting. It's been enlightening. I know Queen Kathy's talked about, her children being at home with her and just, being close knit with family. So yes, definitely a price to pay when it comes to investing in our children and our youth. Darn it, Queen Edith. Okay, yeah, we got 10 more minutes of this. So yes, that's what it is. Let me see. Any more comments?
It's getting worse.
It's okay. I'll tell you what. Let us take a quick break. We'll play this promo video. Is it a good time? What do you think?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Let's do that. Please continue all to comment and like and share. So what we're doing right now, we are just kind of restructuring. We're just kind of growing as we go with Peak Wellness Hours. So we want to kind of tie in promotional ad stuff. So we're just going to take a quick break and we're going to do this ad and we'll be right back.
Are you caring for an aging loved one and feeling overwhelmed? Let Peak Homecare Associates give you the break you deserve. Our respite care services provide compassionate, professional support right in your loved one's home, so you can recharge with peace of mind. Whether it's a few hours, a weekend, or longer, our trusted caregivers are here to help. From medication reminders and meal prep to companionship and personal care, we treat your family like our own. Take care of yourself while we care for them. Call Peak Homecare Associates today at 317-863-0832 or visit peakhomecareassociates.com, because everyone deserves a helping hand. Peak Homecare Associates, care you can count on, relief you can feel.
Okay, so I just wanted to give us a second to make sure everything was good. I know we're short on time. You started to say something, and I want to get back to that promo. You started to say something, and I can't remember. It was so important.
I think I was talking about our connection as a people. We are not meant to live as an island.
Mm-hmm.
So look out for the person next to you.
Mm-hmm.
Look out for your neighbor. You've got a beautiful house. You're getting ready to enjoy it. And you find out that your neighbor is having parties every weekend. At night, they're so loud. Your freedom to enjoy your house is limited. So look out for who is next to you. Develop relationships. Sometimes the person may not be the best person to connect with, but you find out that with your relationship, you can bring a certain perspective that might work for both of you. We cannot be inward looking all the time. And I know that it's a very cultural thing, but we need to break those bounds and reach out to our neighbors, reach out to our friends, reach out to the people around us, because in enjoying our freedoms, we must know that we are limited by the people around us. They affect us. They affect our freedoms. So just something I wanted to point out there as well.
That's a good point. I think if we get into the mindset where we know what we want, that effect is not so great. That's what it was. You said something about money and having lots of money, and then, having financial wealth. And when your children, but you have situations going with your children, that's why with my mindset, it's a holistic approach. Because you are financially wealthy doesn't mean that you're mentally sound or spiritually sound, or even physically. I think I know we have to find this balance. We're looking for things that are not adequate to our purpose. You got this Gucci bag, but you're on disconnecting your light bill. What is the financial wealth? We can counsel, we can coach, we can do this, but your mentality is messed up. A broke clock is right 2 times a day, so it doesn't make it adequate information. We can give spiritual advice, but you're broken in the spirit doesn't make it incorrect in the information. But don't you want to be sound when you're operating in things? And I think that's the freedom of it, is detaching yourself from someone else's bondage. If every time, someone calls me and I know it's going to be negative, or you need something and you're always, just always something, I don't have to answer that phone. By me sitting here and saying that every time Queenie calls, she always wants something. She's always complaining. I'm not going to answer for now. I'm not complaining to my husband about it. Now to my mom, and I'm just spewing out this negative energy all over the place because I'm telling you, I don't want to answer the phone for Edith. Well, just don't answer the phone. Well, I feel bad because I didn't answer the phone, but I know she wants all this bargaining with self. Again, that's self-destruction. That guilt of wanting to elevate higher and not wanting to feel like an outcast or not validated. If you do it on purpose, then the positive will follow. What is supposed to be will be, So don't ever let anybody hinder your freedom. Someone once told me before that sometimes negative people, they have a role to play in your life. These vampires, they have a role. These additives, they have a role. And sometimes that role is to to elevate you, to make you more accountable. So see that for all it is. Respect that for what it is. And get your free on. I'm going to land there. Queen, you want to talk about this video and or whatever you want to say?
So truly, what is freedom? What is freedom? Truly, what is freedom? In the true sense of the word, what is freedom? Having liberty in one area, but other areas are suffering. Does that look like freedom? Because freedom allows you to enjoy who you are and whose you are, as well as those that have been placed around you. Is that true of the freedom we claim we enjoy now? And sometimes I'll leave that question to you. And the video, the addiction thing, I think that maybe it's our time is up. We don't want to overstretch. We want to keep it as we say we'll keep it. We've gone beyond. So maybe we should push it to another day. What do you think?
We certainly can. Really quickly, do you want to share with the video how you can, Peak Homecare Associates can help with the mindset and the freedom of caring for your loved ones?
Freedom. Sometimes having the ability to do what you want to do when you want to do it. And we live in a generation where, our generation are taking care of our children as well as our parents, right? And one of the ways to obtain some freedom of time so you can take care of yourself and other things is to bring Peak Homecare Associates in to support you with the care of your seniors or even your adult children who may have a disability and need someone to sit with them. That's where we come in. So our information is right here on the screen. Reach out to us. We have a lot of room for a lot of new clients. So please reach out, 317-863-0832. You want to text Edith, 317-908-7459. Feel free to give me a text, 317-908-7459. But if you want to call, just call 317-863-0832. It rings to my phone even when I'm not available to speak. I will call you right back as soon as I can, okay? We're looking forward to hearing from you. And let me share one thing I did. Yesterday, I got home from work. I had dinner, and then I decided I want to eat ice cream. Mm-hmm. I wanted something to make my life sweet, make me feel sweet, whatever that was. So I Googled the nearest ice cream place. There are a lot of amazing ice cream places, and it's called Eiffel Waffle Creamery. Eiffel Waffle Creamery. So I went there and got their ice cream. I enjoyed their ice cream, but I will say this. I love waffle cones.
Yes.
Their waffle cone was not my favorite. I've eaten waffle cones from all kinds of places. I like the one with chocolate dipped in chocolate.
Okay.
Yeah, they didn't have that. But otherwise, the ice cream was good. It's 5 minutes down the street from where I live, and I had a good piece of ice cream. I bought the waffle bowl, ate about 3/4 of it, and left the rest. So, yeah. That's how I celebrate.
Waffle cone.
How are you celebrating yours? I'd like to know. Share with me.
Absolutely. I'm hanging out this weekend, so hopefully everybody's staying hydrated and cool, And one more thing. Go ahead.
No, you said hydrated.
Oh, I was going to say, I did want to tell you.
I want you to emphasize hydrated because it's very
important. Oh my goodness. Definitely stay hydrated. You can't drink enough water. I have this thing where I have this little water cooler thing, and I'd always take 3 bottled waters. And it's like it's half ice, and I fill the rest with water so it stays cold. And my husband always makes fun of me. He's like, why you got all that water? So when he does that, I'll get instead of taking 3, I'll take 2. Every time I take 2, I'm so thirsty and I run out of water and I feel like I'm just going to just not make it out there in the streets. So stay hydrated. Yeah, stay hydrated. Don't be out in that sun too long. Definitely get your vitamin D. But just be cautious with that. If you need sunscreen, get it. So that's what I'll say about that. But yeah, definitely stay hydrated. Even when you're indoors, stay hydrated. So
Queen, these water coolers are getting so expensive outside. Can they get some Pick Homecare water coolers affordable?
water coolers.
Just yeah, Pick Homecare water coolers at affordable price. Just if you need, they're getting so expensive, so we can get you very affordable and yeah.
Okay, let me look into it.
You
know, I will.
I like one, so let's get those and use it whilst we do our Facebook Live. We thank you. So, oh, Peak Wellness Hour. So here we go. Happy Independence Day. Happy July 4th weekend to all.
Oh, darn it, Queen. Okay, while she's doing that, we got a split second. If you are in the Indianapolis area, I think Queen Edith's going to be in Bloomington. I figured I'd promote this while you popped off. Gonna be in Bloomington tomorrow, for Sunday fellowship and worship. So, if you're in the is it Bloomington? I need some glasses. Yeah, Bloomington, Indiana. If you're in the area, definitely check that out. You go ahead and tell them about it, Queen.
So we're having a fellowship. A group of Christians, people are getting together, and they've invited me, and I'm going with fire. I'm coming strongly with the presence of God. I don't know what you're dealing with. So many homes are dealing with all kinds of sicknesses, and we think it's just a sickness. But mom had it, grandma had it. It's not just a sickness. There is more to life. Life is spiritual. And I'm going to do a quick Facebook Live right now after this one. I'm not going to use this computer with all these interruptions and talk about it. But definitely, if you know someone in Bloomington, their lives will not be the same. This is not just a saying. I'm not just talking. I know what I've been called to do. I know what I'm being sent to Bloomington to do. So please, make the date if you know someone. And it's just about an hour and a half drive from Indianapolis. Come with me. Let's go. Thank you.
Thank you, Queen. So we do want to promote what we're doing here because we spend our time doing this, and you all spend your time with us. So if you have something you would like us to promote for you on your behalf, please let us know. Thank you. Okay, so now before you get booted off again, take us out. Take us out.
Happy Memorial Day. Remember that as you are enjoying the freedom you're enjoying today, somebody paid the price. The question is this: what does freedom mean to you? What price do you have to pay? And if you're enjoying it, take the time and truly enjoy it. Not just the freedom of America, but your own freedom, the gifts of life that you have. Have an amazing weekend till next week.
Till next time, peace, love, and blessings.